Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com. Thank you. It's good.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we're Mark of Men's Breakfast Club. And good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
If I look at you, I can't see them.
Well, that's all right. It's how vision works. Why is this Talk Like a Pirate Day, or you trying out for Captain Hook?
Well, we've talked
He
about...
didn't have a patch, did he?
I don't know. We've talked about before how I, 25, probably 26 years ago, chipped my cornea, and about once a year that gets torn and becomes an issue. And it looks like pink eye. It looks like conjunctivitis, but it's never conjunctivitis.
Right.
So I went to the eye doctors today because I tore it again last night. And he goes, oh yeah, it's torn. Oh, and you got conjunctivitis.
Oh.
So I got both. It's like a trifecta.
I'm good with that.
I'm just waiting for the third thing to happen. I better not drop this. So,
Yes, we're quarantining two ways today.
Yeah.
So
he's not touching any of the lighters, any of the things I got over here.
yeah, he picked up a lighter and said, "Oh, I guess it's mine." Yes, it is. So this is what happens when you're not in the shop for 10 months? Is your Zippo runs out. Yeah, we wrapped up here probably maybe even before February. Maybe we filmed in March, but I had a trip to the UK early February, and quarantine really kicked in soon after that, and we started early March, I think, doing
filming on the back porch.
Well, you were doing a knee, but then no, we started doing live. We started doing Tuesday Night Live.
Knee was last year.
Well, see, that was the back porch. We jumped straight into with the quarantine doing live streaming with friends, and so that was
right.
For several months. And then we moved back to the back porch, did a couple of live streams there. We did some live gaming, and then I, for 3 weeks in a row, made a joke about how episode 300 will be our last episode ever, and it was just a joke. But that evening that we were filming, it turned out my wife's grandfather was being moved into hospice care, and so we went immediately from that into hospice care, into a funeral, traveling to Kentucky for that, and then Halloween and holiday stuff, and it has just been a wild couple of months. And so to those of you that thought we had disappeared for good, sorry, we hadn't. That wasn't ever the plan or intention. It just lined up that we kind of needed that. But we're glad to be back here tonight.
Yeah.
This morning.
What have you been up to? Tell us about it in the comments, please. So, I've been on the tubes though. I've been on the YouTubes. I've
Yes,
been
you have.
busy.
Hey, but before we jump on that, I'd love to hear about what you've been doing on the tubes. But before that, I think we should answer the question that we've been getting, that people are asking. The two questions.
What are we cooking for Thanksgiving?
That's number one. Yep,
Okay.
yep. Three questions.
Okay.
There's that. What's the deal with Tobacco Advent this year? Is it happening, and how can we get involved?
What's the deal?
And what's the deal with Tobacco Advent last year? Are the cornaments ever going to come around? So let's answer that one first.
Okay, I have a picture on my phone. I think I shared it with you.
Yes.
This very day, on Wednesday, those pipes are being shipped. The cornaments, the 3D printed ornaments as well. So thank you guys for being patient. I did say you'd have them by this Christmas.
That was the promise.
That was also a joke.
Right. Yeah. So we at the time that we were still filming in the shop here, of course, we're still working through some of the tobaccos that were sent in, and had planned to come back, and all of that also got disrupted, and so it's been a labor of love and thankfulness for all of you that have pitched in tobaccos last year to get those out to you, hopefully in time for tree decorating this year.
So let's talk about the cornament for this year. If you're interested in sending us a sample of tobacco, we just want a little bit, right? We just want enough to fill 2 cobs. So take one of your favorite tobaccos. We'd love to try it, even if it's one we've smoked before. We've never smoked it thinking about you, right? So put that in a Ziploc baggie, and you can send it off to the P.O. box that we've listed down in the doobly-doo. And when we use your tobacco, you will receive a cornament. That is a corncob ornament, corncob pipe ornament that will have a sticker on the bottom for the day that we used it. And Boy will be printing the 2020 commemorative ornament, which is a different color than the red ones. We bought some more filament in that kind of a, what do you call that? It's a shimmery.
It's a same style, kind of shimmery. I think it's glossy, but it's a blue this year, and we'll reveal what those ornaments will look like soon. I'm still working on designing those, and I'm going to get a jump on 3D printing those, but they'll be in a similar vein as the ones from last year, which those of you that submitted tobacco last year should be receiving any day now.
Yeah, it's great. So, thank you again for those of you who participated. If you're interested, we'd love to have you to participate this year. You know, the bonus thing for you, and not that you're doing this just for you. We understand that you're really truly gifting us, but it can be an opportunity for us to talk about your channel or whatever you've got going on, and we'd be happy to send folks your way. You know, we get asked, do you guys do shout-outs? Well, we're hardly ever together. When we record, we typically record several episodes, so we don't really do shout-outs, but this is the time of year that we can do that. So, anyway.
And if you have no idea what we're talking about,
right?
If you have no idea what we're talking about, go into the back catalog, check out Tobacco Advent. Every year we film and post daily videos smoking a usually viewer-submitted tobacco, not always, and just a short video with the tobacco. It is the only time during the year that we ever really talk about the tobacco, and even come close to what some may call a review. Give our opinion on did we like it, did we not, will we smoke it again. And then usually there's a daily question just to get engaged. And so it's our favorite time of year to be a part of the community. And so check it out if you're unfamiliar.
I also had a thought about the question thing. We tried it one year. We had people submit us questions, and we got the same question on a whole bunch of the submissions. So how about this? If you're interested, put a prompt, something that you would like for us to talk about. So it could be, hey guys, riff on candy canes, or talk a little bit about something. Ideally something that's holiday or Christmas related, but maybe we'll use your prompt.
What if we? Here's what I'd like to do. Check out the description down below. There will be instructions on what to do for this. I will set up a online form where it'll probably be a Google form where you can submit a question or a prompt there. I will also open it up so that you can see what other people have already posted, so that even if whether you're sending tobacco or not, you can get involved in that, and then we will randomize those questions on the days of.
That's a better idea. All right, good, thanks. All right, I'm going to submit 10 of them.
Perfect, do it. Randomized. So, to the most important first question, what are you eating for Thanksgiving?
Oh, right, one more bit of business here. It's International Corncob Pipe Month. We haven't even talked about that. I've put out one video at the beginning of the month, and I haven't said a word about it. And it's time for our annual video contest, and I think there are 2 entries right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. So check that video out on the Aristocob channel. What am I cooking?
It's gonna be a tight race.
Things are going weird. We were planning on going up to Kentucky to spend some time with some friends who earlier this year, just ahead of COVID, moved to Hawaii. Now you'd think that would be great, but the day he arrived, his office was put on quarantine, so he hasn't even worked from his office yet. They moved to Hawaii. The company he is working for was the company he was working for in Ohio, and they thought it would be best for him to actually be there in that office, interacting with those people and so on. So instead of doing it virtually from Ohio, they moved him to Hawaii for a couple of years.
No takebacks.
And so as I would point out, well, there's worse places to be quarantined than Hawaii. But anyway, they're coming back during the Thanksgiving to early December week, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way for us to connect with them. So it may be over Thanksgiving. We may leave the day of Thanksgiving. We may leave the weekend of Thanksgiving to head up to northern Kentucky to hang out with friends.
Cool.
So I'm getting a turkey from work. I'm not sure if it's going to go into the freezer or if I'm going to smoke it or what. How about you?
So you're not driving out to visit them in Hawaii?
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Made real short order of that.
Yeah. We're planning to do Hawaii. We're planning to do Thanksgiving things probably the Saturday after. Just figured it would be easier for us. We often just have a big open gathering and get together with family that we get to see all the time anyway. So it's just a fun opportunity to hang out. And so it's most usually my wife's siblings usually, and so we're going to do that a couple of days after Thanksgiving. That way, there's no conflict with people visiting in-laws and other family members, and also we realize as a nice after effect is it will allow me to go on Friday and get really cheap discounted turkeys to smoke
fill the
for
freezer.
Saturday, to fill the freezer, and I'm going to smoke a turkey on Saturday. So for our Thanksgiving dinner. So we were talking, we may just do like grilled cheese or something.
You may be speed thawing in the bathtub though.
No.
You think you're going to find thawed turkeys?
No, but I'll be able to thaw it.
Okay.
I thawed last year's turkey in less than 24 hours using sous vide.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
Put it in a cooler
And just circulate
the water,
Yeah.
and it worked wonders. It was the most thawed turkey I have ever cooked, and normally I get it into the water sooner. It was great.
All right, well, that's cool.
Highly recommend that method.
So you say you will be smoking for that get together?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then we'll probably be holding on to a couple of turkeys for smoking later in the year.
Do you already have wood for that, or are you just using random firewood?
Yes. Yeah. Whatever I can get.
We need to go to Texas and get some post oak.
Sure. Pick some up on your way back from Hawaii.
Well, we're not taking a trailer.
Well, maybe you could rent a minivan.
This is really annoying, and worse than the fact that this is pushing on some spots that are kind of tender now. Why is it shaped like Madonna's bra? Why does this thing have a point on it? I meant to bring along one of my giant googly eyes. Put that on there this day.
Oh, I should have. So I heard Steve Carell and Rainn Wilson of The Office. Dwight talking about what is it about a pandemic that kind of just requires or necessitates growing a beard. And Steve Carell's my favorite line. He said beards are really just sweatpants for the face.
Yeah.
So I've been wearing my sweatpants for a while now.
I hadn't noticed. So
Yeah.
This is new.
No, it's about 8 months old.
Huh.
Is what it is.
Okay.
It's gotten to the point where I need to find a mask made for beards because the mask I normally wear the other day was being pushed up, I think, by the beard and was poking me in my eyes. It was terrible. It was absolutely the
I
worst.
know what being poked in the eye feels like.
Yeah, I thought you might. That's why I brought it up. Thought, find some common ground.
So, I'm going to ask you something. Oh, speaking of The Office, I almost bought you something yesterday that is Office themed.
Oh, yeah?
And then I thought, I'm going to buy this for Seth. So that's going to go, that's cool. And then he's going to hate me forever because he'll have no place for this.
Okay, fair.
So I didn't buy it for you. Have you seen? It's a laser engraved and laser cut music box with box corners, and you turn it and it plays the theme to The Office.
No, I love it. No, I would have found a place for that. I have a place for so many more useless things than that, and I would have found a place.
All right, well,
No, that's
then forget I ever mentioned it.
no, that's great. That one's great. I've wanted to get a World's Best Boss mug.
I got one of those.
Did you?
I bought one.
Bought one for
I had
yourself?
one made on Zazzle
Nice.
for my boss.
Oh.
We were talking about doing a video that we would forward in advance of people's onboarding into the company to give them an idea of what to expect and who they're going to interact. I work in the HR department, and we were going to film it in the style of The Office. And
Nice.
so I bought a Best Boss, World's Greatest Boss mug for my boss.
And you didn't do it?
Well, it's sitting on my desk still.
No, but you didn't do the video? That's
No.
a shame.
Well-
should go back and do it.
Things changed, and we now onboard virtually. So we haven't had people visit us in a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, the whole thing is wild, and we were talking about looking forward into next year. What does the landscape look like next year in terms of travel? Will there be trade shows? Will things start picking up? Talked about vaccines and things. Is that going to have any effect at all? And if so, is it going to affect the business sector? And will we ever have a return to group? Nah, I hate that, but I mean to like large group type conferences and like there's conference hall gatherings. I would expect those attendance to be down for a few years.
Yeah.
But then we do a couple of trade events that are more social interaction focused, and
It'll take a while, but it'll come back.
Yeah.
I've said this to you, maybe not to you. One of my coworkers said to me one time about a trade show that we were just kind of dreading. It's a long, long show. And he said, the only thing worse than being asked to work a trade show is not being asked to work the trade show. And if you start those things out as small events with limited audiences, you'll have people clamoring to be on that list. And that's just kind of how they grow.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be on the cutting edge and see what's new. I look back almost 20 years ago seeing the saw stop table saw cutting a hot dog. And it was the very first time that they showed it at a trade show. And it was way back in a back corner, and they had modified some Craftsman table saw to do this. And that was so, pardon the pun, cutting edge. And people who didn't go had no idea. When we were talking about, they had this, it's hard to explain, but it's the hot dog saw. You got to go see the hot dog saw.
Yeah. Yeah, but now people just shoot a video and it's out there.
Well, and it's now owned by Festool. Saw stop is.
Yeah, we were talking to some friends who were, the kids are second grade and kindergarten age, and they were wondering what will this year of lower development, whatever, emotion, high emotion, stress for the kids, how's that going to affect them long term? And they were talking about it like it's just a single blip in time, and I pointed out that it is so much more than just a blip. It's gonna. I predict we won't return to normal for 30 years. Clearly it's happened in the past. The Spanish flu returned to normalcy, but as I drew the comparison, to look at 9/11, that was a singular event that you cannot walk through the airport without taking off your shoes as a result of that singular event, right? The ripples of something like that and something like this are felt 20 years later, that it's not just affecting their second graders' growth and maturity and some of these things, but the jobs that they encounter 15 years from now will be very different from what they would have been otherwise. The society is going to be different. So many things are adapting to how things are now, and how will that adaptation continue to points that we just can't even predict at this point.
The high engagement, because people are off, the high engagement in politics this year, the passions on both sides, kids growing up typically not with a neutral household, there's going to be some strong opinions. The kids are going to be They're going to grow up polarized as if we aren't already.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right.
I mean, a lot of stuff's going to be different for them growing up. We can't even predict what it is, but I also think that the industry is going to evolve with that as well, and like it has in the past, and will continue to in the future.
But there'll be kids that will never know the smell of flavored tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine never smelling Lane 1Q or Captain Black? There are places where they will no longer sell flavored tobacco.
We had a meeting last week, and we were talking about where are there market opportunities for us. I've had 2 customers in the last 6 months reach out about using our products, which are designed for restaurants, for their weed farms. And with so many new states now passing legislation making that legal, I said, well, there could be opportunity for us in this brand new sector, which is like so far out of left field.
Yeah.
But if it's a way that people want to use your product for something, whether it was intended for that or not, there's opportunity there.
That's true. Well,
and yet, in those places, they won't know the smell of tobacco.
Yeah. I read an article years ago. It was a food chemist who made artificial scents and artificial flavors. And he talked about, this was the very first time I'd read how complex chocolate is, and how hundreds of flavor compounds, and many of those flavor compounds are carcinogenic or in some way poisonous. So you can't make an artificial flavoring and pull things off the shelf that are carcinogenic, right? So you can't replicate chocolate. It's like artificial flavored banana doesn't taste like bananas. But the article was saying if their job was to replicate the taste and smell of bread, it would smell like Wonder Bread. Because kids today, pick the brand, they're not familiar with artesian bread. Except for, I guess, a whole bunch of folks are making bread at home, so maybe that's changed. Well, why don't we finish smoking and wrap this up? And so, again, you have some actionable things. Leave your comment down below and tell us how great he looks. Check in the description for the link to leave us some suggestions for Tobacco Advent. If you're interested in sending us some tobacco, you'll find the address down below, and we'll begin airing those daily episodes beginning December 1st.
That's so soon.
It is really so soon.
Like 2 weeks.
But, thanks again. Make it a great day.
See ya.